Dave, this Friday, the Grammys are announcing their candidates for their different awards for the upcoming Grammys in February. Kind of crazy that it's happening so soon. It feels like the Grammys are forever away. And I was thinking about it, I was like, what do I remember about the Grammys last year? And I mean, I think one of the probably the biggest takeaways was Best New Artist. You know, you had people like SZA in there. Who else? There was one other person. Yes, Khalid. And people were really rooting for them to take it home. But who ended up taking it home, Dave?
Alessia Cara, whose hit single had come out over 2 years before the awards ceremony.
Yeah. I mean, Dave, all she had to do was stay. And she did. She stayed in that the best new artist category, and she fucking won that shit. And then she blew up, and I was like, who the fuck's this Alessia Cara girl? I mean, she sounds like, I feel like she sounds like pretty much any other like pop female solo artist right now in a lot of ways. Although listening to this new album, Growing Pains, I was pretty underwhelmed, but also a lot more intrigued about where she could go as an artist. I thought at points I heard like some Norah Jones type vibes in there, which I thought was encouraging. But I also heard some very conventional pop, and I probably heard one of my least favorite pop solo female artist songs of the year in Nintendo games, which I think is just a fucking abomination.
Interesting. I actually
you liked it.
I thought that was one of the best songs. That's funny.
Honestly, the second I heard her say like "you're harder than Zelda," like Ocarina of Time or whatever that line was, I was like, I'm out, dog.
That's true. Ocarina of Time also isn't that challenging. If she said like Zelda 2 or something, I'd respect the line there, but it's not that accurate.
But what did you think of this follow-up album?
You know, it's funny. I don't think she sounds like most other pop artists. I think she's definitely like alternative pop music as opposed to just normal pop. I think part of that is because she's not like this superb vocalist, so she doesn't try and sing that way. You know, you think of her hits from the first album, Know It All, obviously Here, which was her big song, but also like Scars You Beautiful or Wild Things. I think that's probably my favorite song of hers. That was a big hit. And, you know, she kind of brings like an interesting cadence to her singing that I don't see that, you know, that easily replicated elsewhere in pop music. At least that's what I thought anyway. And I thought there was a lot of punch. There was a lot of like edge to that project as an alternative pop album. But then this album, The Pains of Growing, I was also underwhelmed. I thought it just didn't quite hit the highs of that first record or those first few hits she had. And it's weird because like you acknowledge it. I mean, when she won Best New Artist, the song they played for her as she walked up to accept the award was her feature with Zed, Stay, right?
Yeah.
Which I actually think is a nice EDM song. I like that song.
It is.
But that was her most recent hit alongside obviously her feature on Logic's 1-800, right? And those two songs I think definitely get away from her original, you know, pop when she really, you know, started to take off. And I don't think I think she definitely was making songs like 1-800 on this album. You think lyrically a song like 7 Days, for example, I think like she definitely has like, you know, thoughts in her brain about, you know, things she'd like to talk about, but at the same time,
she's got thoughts.
I just don't know if like the songs sonically pop enough to want to hear them again. It's like, yeah, that's a nice message and you're well intentioned, but I just don't know if there's enough punch to this record. And I definitely thought song like her first song, obviously it's a few years old. I'm not telling her to sound like she used to sound or anything, but like song like Here, like that was like, you know, she was on fucking Hot 97 talking about that song. You know why? Because she was from Toronto area and she had hip hop cadences in that song. And the song was fucking great. And then she made other hits that weren't like that, like Wild Things. And I was like, okay, there's something here. And I still think there's something here, but I don't know if there's a hit on this album. I think that's a problem.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely a problem. And I think probably my feeling that she sounds a lot like other, you know, female solo pop artists right now is that her, you know, her most famous song, Stay, is an overproduced EDM Zed hit, which, I mean, you can plug and play pretty much any female vocalist into those songs, and they're going to come out the same. This I feel encouraged with the fact that she's trying to find subject matter and find a voice outside of just being in that conventional pop sphere. And I think this is a sign of growth for her. I just think that, like you said, there's not a lot of teeth to this album. I think the best songs are some of the softest on this, and that's going to be a funny juxtaposition to my take on the 1975 here in a minute or so. But like All We Know, I think is a song that has a really catchy chorus, builds up really beautifully, has almost like a really nice crescendo to that song. I even thought Growing Pains, like if you had to pick a second song, is a decent song. It's kind of boring. Like I think if anything, she could probably benefit from working with some unconventional producers, maybe someone like a Jack Antonoff, if she's going to stay in that pop sphere, someone that can really add some good twist to her music. But overall, I don't think she's going anywhere. I just think that she definitely needs to come out with a hit single somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny because I was watching some videos recently of her performances, and like I said, she's not an amazing vocalist, but she's a great live performer. She actually sings really well, and the songs sound like the studio recordings. And that's not obviously easy to replicate. But like I said, I don't know if there's that many hits here, meaning we might be quiet on Alessia Cara front until we get more music, and that's unfortunate because like I said, I think there's some songwriting qualities that are strong on this, but at the end of the day, if you're making pop music, you need to pop. So
Alessia Cara, well, maybe we'll have one of her songs that I listen to. Sure.